Well, hello again and welcome to Roland's Reviews. As you can see, none other, Miss Rhonda Morrison, aka Miss Spicy, is back in the house. Now, the last few weeks, we've been talking about um, African Americans changing and voting, changing voting patterns. And again, this is historic because for the past 50 plus years, African Americans have been predominantly voting for Democrats. So they're coming on into the chat room now. Come on in, folks. So um, some of you said, "Okay, that's great. That's good info. Good. How you doing, Lola?" Lola, speaking to you, Miss Spicy. And so some of you, JoJo, they're all ladies are coming over from the Jobu Sports Report. Thank you, ladies. And so some of you were saying, okay, that's great, but you said that you also wanted to hear, okay, about the things that Biden and his administration have done for underserved communities, okay, and communities of color. So Miss Morrison, she's never one to hold or pull any punches. She's here. She's going to share some information with you, and you know how we do. We always everyone's allowed to voice their opinion, and we just have a good time here. With our demographic, it's not that serious. We don't, oh yeah, scream. We just have a good time. Everyone gets, how you doing, PJ? Everyone gets to state their point, and we just have a good time. So type your comments in the comment section like you are. Hey, hello, Jermaine, like you always do, and just tell me what you think about this topic. So again, if you've been watching videos from the last few weeks, I did videos, and if you haven't watched it, you need to. Those videos have thousands of views because it is trending. So um, tell me what you think. Let's listen to what Miss Spicy has to say. We know she's always informative, and she's going to talk to you about some things that the Biden administration has done for underserved communities. So, without further ado, uh, let's welcome Miss Spicy, aka Rhonda Morrison. How are you?
I am wonderful. How's everybody doing today? I was a little sleepy in church today. I'm not gonna lie, because I have a few back problems. So, I was telling Roland there. I said I was very grateful when it was time for prayer because I was asleep. Praise the Lord. But anyway, so I have been doing some research on what's been going on with the administration. And the thing about it that we have to understand is that no politician is perfect. To me, I see politicians as all liars because I mean you have to be a liar and conniving in order to climb that ladder of into the highest office anyway. I mean, even Obama wasn't perfect. So even though we love him and we want to think him as perfect, he was not. But that's okay. We're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about Biden, and we know that as a elderly man of no color, he is not going to be perfect either. So he's had to evolve over time, and but the policies that he's put into place and the things that he's tried to do, I feel are good. And to me, they are better than our previous administration. I know you guys had someone on the show last week who was representing um, our previous president, hoping to be our new president, although President inmate 57308 is not does just don't have that ring ring to it. Y'all, why do we love criminals? I just don't understand it. I mean, if they qualify to be love after lockup on that series, they don't need to be our president. Come on now. But so I just wanted to tell you about some things that our administration has been doing for us. And for one thing, the White House is not so white anymore. And listen, I am not a fan of Kamala. I'm really not, because in order to climb her way up to the Senate, I mean, she put just as many brothers away with long sentences as any other old white man. So don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of hers. I was just impressed by the historical fact that a black woman was in the vice president seat. So, but when I look at uh, progressives and conservatives, or i.e., Democrat versus Republican, what I see is Republicans want to go backwards. They think of the good old days, and when Roland was talking earlier, there are no good old days for Black people. There are worse old days and very bad old days and kind of sort of icky old days. There are no good old days for us. Our good new days are yet to be seen in this country.
Access
That's
denied.
that's what people don't seem to understand. So I don't understand why we want to vote for them. I just really don't. I don't get that, because they don't have our any of our agendas at heart. And some people say, well, I don't believe in abortion. Okay, so don't get an abortion. um, who cares if Taquika down the road is getting an abortion? Taquika, she's not related to you, so why do you care? Um, I just feel like things have to be, what is the person doing? What is the person doing for you? What is the how is your life being impacted by the politics that are in the administration that's in charge of us? And so that's some of the things I want to talk about today. How is your life being impacted, or how is your life going to be impacted by what the current administration is doing? So Mr. President Biden signed into office on February 16, 2023, an executive order to strengthen racial equity and support underserved communities across the federal government. One of the most prolific things he did was he's trying to advance environmental justice. I don't know if you guys know this, but they whenever they want to put a dump, um, if they want to, for example, put a facility where they're going to burn tires, you know how you want to get rid of tires. You might have old tires from your car. There are a few examples of the tire burning facility would be near a low income housing area or district, and those places release toxins into the air, and they cause cancer. And it's no accident that they are near Black communities. So that is an example of environmental injustice. Well, he's trying to, with this bill, with this order, eliminate situations like that. It
Okay.
is it is no accident that when they want to do fracking is when they are trying to extract gas from the earth. But at sometimes this gets into the artisanal wells, or where people get their water from, and then that's when they can turn their faucet on and strike a match to it, and the water's on fire.
Oh,
But then
wow.
they're drinking this, and that is also cancer causing. And this is where, and it is by far um incidences where that poor people are being subject to this, because I can tell you, rich people are not going to have that in their community. So that's that. Gender equity, equality for LGBTQI plus individuals. And I know that there are some um who don't agree with, or who might not even like people of that persuasion. But does that affect your life every day? Does that affect you when you are paying for your gas, when you're getting your grocery, when you're paying your taxes? No, it doesn't. It's just your opinion. And that's the thing I don't understand. When the forefathers founded our country, they did so because they wanted us to be free to make our own decisions. But then every time something like this comes up, they want to throw the Bible at it. But this is a country of free religion. And free religion sometimes can be no religion.
Okay, so you have a statement, Miss Spicy, in the comment section. This is coming from Corey.
Mm-hmm.
So Corey says, of course, Biden and Harris are not doing anything. I'm not voting for them. But also, I wanted to address so um, about the LGBTQ situation. So now, what do we do? And I don't have an answer for this question. I'm just telling you, I was addressed, and so I'm just asking you. So I had a female student who came to me very upset because um, she went to the bathroom and there was a male in the bathroom who identifies as female. So, like I said, we need to have these conversations. What do we do? Because she was very, very upset, and I didn't know what to tell her. I just said, just tell administration or whatever. What do we do in instances like that so that everyone is treated fairly? I guess is what I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, we don't live in a state where they have addressed it. There was an instance when I was working at our school,
Okay.
and you remember, well, I'm not going to say her name, but
Uh-huh.
there was a young lady who with the same issue, and I'm gonna be real with you. I just let her use the teacher restroom because it was private.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I know everybody's not gonna be like me, so I don't know what to say about that. And
Yeah.
people gonna do what they want to do. I don't, and if that's you, if that's how you want to vote, you want to vote on a hey, I don't care if I got to pay $12 a gallon at the pump. I disagree with abortion, and so I'm gonna vote for the people who disagree with abortion with me. And hey, I'm cool with that. If that's you.
Okay.
Um, Also, the executive order requires agencies to improve engagement and communication stream with the people that it impacts. It increases the share of contracting dollars to people that it serves, such as small businesses. Now, we want to complain. There's been a long-standing complaint that people of color don't get government contracts.
Oh yeah, we've heard that for years.
Right. So the order addresses that. And
Okay.
so they're going to work, they're going to be very proactive with under this order and work for small businesses and people of color and other underrepresented companies
Okay.
to get them government contracts. So they're
Okay.
going to make it a point to make sure they get their government contracts. And it
Okay.
also improves economic opportunity in rural and urban communities. So often, and we all know this, in urban communities, when you go into a store in that urban community, you're going to be met with people who don't look like you.
That's right.
So why is that? So now that he's with this order, he's going to try to change that.
Okay.
So that's another thing that addresses that. Improves accessibility to disabled language access services for people who don't speak English, and
Okay.
expands the capacity of civil rights offices, because our civil rights are are taken away from us in a lot of different situations on a daily basis,
They
but
are.
we don't know where to turn when that happens.
Right.
So they're going to increase the number of offices, and also they're going to be more visible, so that when we do have a problem like that, or we think we might have our rights have been violated, we have somewhere to go, and it's very clear where we can go and get these services.
Okay.
So, you go to a store and somebody's following you around, or you didn't get a job that you felt you should have gotten. We'll have somebody to turn to, and
Okay.
it'll be self evident and easy to find. So, it says so far the administration has increased help to farmers who have experienced discrimination,
Right.
homeless service organizations. So we know homelessness is getting worse because of the cost of property. I know several people who have, like, they were in their homes paying their rent on time, keeping
Yeah.
the property straight, and then all of a sudden, for no reason, well, at the end of your lease, you need to leave.
Yeah. That's an issue. It is.
You know, I know you've done what you're supposed to do, but I don't want you there anymore.
Yeah.
There's a friend of mine or whatever I want, to be there instead. And I know of a young lady who had to sleep in her car with her child and her three grandchildren. And this was winter.
Hmm.
So, and it also has a rule that prevents segregation in housing that the states must adhere to, or the states will lose their funding.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, these are real world issues that's going on that affect. It might not affect you personally, but I'm sure it affects somebody that you know.
Yeah. You know. Yeah. You're right. It's tough out there. It is. Um,
Yeah,
so what can we do? It's just unfortunate that we as a society now, years ago, people sort of helped each other. This is before, of course, government intervention. Unfortunately, those days are gone, right?
yeah,
So, there is no easy answer. And, Jill's comfort zone said, yes, it's truly sad. There are a lot of families without housing. Yeah, because with the rents so high, and what Miss Morris and what Miss Spicy's telling you, I am very familiar with people who've been renting from people for years. They decided, well, you're only paying me $600 a month, but when the market really went up, they realized, oh, I can get about $1,000, $1,200 a month. So you have
hmm
to go. Then when people have to move, where are they going to live because they can't afford anything. It's so high. So
right.
it's just a sad situation, and so we
It
know
is.
it's very important.
It is, and it is very sad. And some people might have the argument that when we were segregated, and in the so-called black schools, there were more black teachers, and therefore there's the argument that the education for the black student was better.
Right, and we need to do a show on, and I don't know how many of you read Thomas Sowell, but if in the words of the late great Whitney Houston, show me the receipts. He's a guy, world renowned economist, and he has the receipts. And I was going to ask you guys before I end the show today, later on, if you wanted me to actually review that book. That's actually how, those of you that didn't know, that's actually how the Rollins Reviews YouTube channel started,
hmm
doing book reviews. You remember? So, but yeah, if you compare the statistics, and he even talks about that
hmm
during segregation, we were doing better. People were helping each other.
right.
All those doors opened up. The black businesses went away. People stopped helping each other. Is I'm doing for me.
and
So
and that could be when the whole inner city, because inner city wasn't a thing until it got bad, because once you got the gangs involved
oh yeah.
and it got dangerous, that's when it got bad.
And but it didn't get bad until, if people, like I said, I don't know, people may not love history as much as I do, but Miss Morrison, your history. And during the Great Migration, when we were leaving the South going north for all those good paying jobs, the problem was, that's when they started building the housing projects. Now they started out nice, but they didn't stay that way. And God knows when the jobs left, What do you expect when you have thousands, if not millions, of people in public housing, no jobs? There's nothing good that's going to come out of that.
Right.
And so you're right. That's exactly what happened.
And
Um,
Miss Golden says it's funny how Republicans want immigrants to only go to Democratic states, but won't let immigration into places like Idaho, North and South Dakota, where there are places that can help with construction, farming, and etc. That's
okay.
because that makes too much sense. Because they know if they go to places, if they send the immigrants to places where there's farming, that those immigrants could actually get work there and therefore justify being here.
Okay.
'Cause
So
like
that,
on the West Coast, I know somebody who trucks to the West Coast. Even the immigrants that were there because it was so hot, and they were actually working in the fields at night with lights, and then they actually quit.
wow.
The
Okay.
immigrants quit work. And so if those people that they were busing had been bused to those areas, they would have been willing to work and they would have been earning their keep. They don't
Okay.
want them to do that because they want an excuse to send them back to where they came from.
Okay. Now, let me read. Let me read in the comment section. Let's see what people are saying about that. Well, what do we say to the people? And the common argument we hear is they're taking American jobs, but let's be clear, folks. A lot of the particularly the agricultural jobs, Americans aren't going to do that.
All right, so yeah, about that. So yeah, who in the comment section want to go work in the fields?
We'll wait.
Anybody?
Let's see. Do I see any yeses?
No, I'm
No.
not. I'm not picking cotton.
So
If
that
I if I go pick a peach off the tree, I plan on eating it right
you
then.
okay. so so
And
then
John
let's
said Joe Biden voted against every civil rights bill. Yeah, that was 30, 40 years ago. So what?
okay. Where is that? John said. Where was that? I didn't
At
see
four
that.
at 422,
Uh-huh.
a
So
lot of yeah, probably most white people voted against it. Of course,
okay, so that now that's an excellent point. And we did
this is
talk about that.
2024, 23. I'm sorry, I'm talking about the future. I mean, and Paula Dean said the N word a long time ago, but hey, I say she fry up some good chicken now. I don't care.
Okay.
I already said none of them are perfect. None of them are perfect. I have established that in my soul that if their skin is pale at some and they're of a certain age, just about all of them has used the N word and probably still do in private. If they The only thing I'm interested in is can how do you pass policy that will affect my life when I wake up tomorrow?
And that's what we've been talking about the last few videos. And that's what I tell people. Um, do a little research on whichever, I don't care which side that you vote. Just find out which person, and their, check their record, which person has values that closely aligned to yours, and you vote that way. And again, with me, so I never do a straight ticket. So I may vote, here, there. I look at the issues that are going to affect me directly. So sometimes, again, now I'm registered as an independent,
Yeah.
but like I said, I look at, again, I'm looking at what's affecting me. I think I mentioned last week. Right now, education is important to me. When I retire, so Social Security is going to be more important. Retirement issues, right? So each phase of our lives, it changes. Okay.
Hmm.
So good point. And okay, everybody said no. That question that you asked, everybody said no. Everybody's good.
Hmm.
Golden Nova, because my ancestors did it for our people. We still don't have reparations for everything they built. Okay, so that's what
Hmm.
Golden Nova said. So what do you think about that, Miss Spicy?
Well, the things that I've been talking about as far as the black farmers, getting their, in the future being able to have access to government money. I don't know if I've actually talked about that yet,
We've
but
talked that.
there are programs for that.
Yeah.
Also, they've launched it says they launched a science mission directorate bridge program at select HBCUs, MSIs, and TCUs to
Okay.
help increase the number of minority employees at NASA and other engineering programs. So that's another thing that they're doing. So
Okay.
they're expanding the science and technology programs at HBCUs.
Okay. So
So,
that's important, of course. Um,
right.
and so what we're saying, um, which she was, I don't know how many of you have seen the video that I did a video actually on the USDA. We know that the black farmers finally won their lawsuit. For
Mm-hmm.
years, they had been denied loans, okay, and we don't have too many black farmers today. We know that. So they are trying to correct the wrongs of the past of the USDA program, the DEIA, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in the federal workforce. So there are some things in place. Jojo said, I never picked cotton, but I spent many summers helping my uncles haul grain, hard work, hot temperatures, not easy labor. Yes, Jojo. And if you're someone like me who has seasonal allergies, oh my God, you feel like you're dying because you can't breathe. Okay, so yeah, I would have to find something else to do. So um, I think you mentioned we were talking earlier. You talked about the property appraisal evaluation. So they're trying to make that more equitable. You're right about that. If you remember, I did the video. Um, and folks, most this goes back to what I've said forever. You have to do your research with everything. If you guys remember, I did the video, and it talked about African Americans who were going to sell their property, and it was low, and they would have some of their friends to go and
Mm-hmm.
pretend as if it was there. So we know things are still not quite where they need to be. But if you do your research, folks, you cannot be robbed or bamboozled, and that's the
Right.
line. Um, I know also, Miss Morrison, junk fees. You know that the banks, the cable companies,
Mm-hmm.
all of them, that they're nickel and diming us to death.
And
Um,
Biden has addressed that as well.
he has. So um,
And
again, I have people in the chat who vote Democratic. I have people in the chat that vote Republican. That's fine. Do
mhm,
what's best for you. We're just having uh, a very nice conversation, which I love. That's how you get things worked out, folks. Miss Morrison, what would you suggest? Because I know they also had an equitable workforce training. And we also talked before we came on about there are lots of programs that people don't even know about. So,
mhm.
what would you suggest? How can we get this information out here?
I mean, it was really easy for me to find out. All I typed into Google was what has the Biden administration done for Black people, and it popped up all of this information. I didn't even get through half of it.
Okay.
All people have to do is inform themselves, but people don't want to inform themselves. People want to just assume stuff. And another thing that he has done, right here in North Carolina, is at Durham Tech, and we know that Durham is Durham Tech is right there with the Black folk. He is
Bro.
there's a number of tech companies that are coming to Durham or in the
RTP.
Triangle or have
Yeah.
already gotten there. We are actually taking the our production of semiconductors away out of China,
Oh yeah.
and we're bringing it to the United States. There's a program. Biden has created a program, and one of the places that he has created it is Durham, and at Durham Tech. And so he's actually funding people to go and learn how to work in this company, in this factory, and it's going to be paying good money
Right.
in
Right.
order to learn how to build semiconductors. right
Okay.
there in the middle of Soul City.
And those that aren't familiar with Durham, yeah, Durham needs that. Durham's right there with RTP, Research Triangle Park. We know that the crime rate there is high. They need jobs. They do.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
so that's a positive. Okay.
Very
Um,
positive.
oh yeah,
And
and
also, he has partnered with the U.S. Agency for International Development to address gender-based violence, because
okay,
that has been a problem in the military,
right.
gender-based violence. So he's also, so that's another thing he's doing. So he's helping not just Black people or people of color. He's helping everybody.
Okay. Golden Nova, Black Goddess says reparations come in many forms, building up the communities, putting in great health facilities and staff, educational school funding. Uh, and she said grocery stores with fresh produce and money with other job qualifications the Black community can benefit from. And that's a good point there, Golden Nova.
Hmm.
And see, I was reading the other day, a lot of it's unfortunate that, and you feel bad for, especially for the older people who are trapped, but a lot of the large businesses, that they're leaving the communities that already are economically depressed, high crime. And Miss Morrison, when they built that brand new Walmart on Murchison Road in Fayetteville, high crime area, that store didn't stay open anytime. They shut down, and so that all the jobs left.
Yeah.
But with the high crime, they couldn't even break even, because
Right.
even I went to Dollar General in the high crime area. They shut. I said, "Why are you closing?" Because I stopped through there one day, and they said they can't. They're not making any money because of all the people
People
coming in there
stealing.
stealing. So again, for the it's a bad situation because jobs leave, and then a lot of people that don't have transportation that could walk, what are they going to do? And Gina said, yeah, facts, right? So what do you do?
Well,
um
the thing about it is, they can get on the bus and they can go. I mean, I know exactly where you're talking about, and they could get on the bus and they could go down the road. I mean, there's another Walmart 3 miles away, and they can get on the bus and go to that Walmart. I mean, the bottom line is this: if you're gonna be a thief, you're gonna have to work for it. I believe a thief should have to work for it. So go down the
yeah,
road, get on the
yeah,
bus and go down the road and rob, if that's what
yeah,
you want to do.
yeah. And then even like people were DoorDash, Pizza Hut, people became angry with them because they don't want to deliver to certain areas, but when they were delivering, they were being
They were
robbed.
getting robbed.
So
Exactly.
I'm like, well, if I worked for one of those companies, and I was reading again, I do a lot of reading, and I mean, these are Black workers. They're like, no, I'm not going there.
But
Uh,
see,
so safe.
that's my problem though. It's like, because that was probably one of the initiatives in the George Floyd bill. I mean, when I go down, it's the Merc. It's called Murchison Road. That's where Fayetteville State is. If
Yeah,
you drive down Murchison Road, I speed there all the time because there are no cops there. So my thing is this: if why doesn't the city patrol that area more? Why do you have less cops in the most crime riddled places? It
yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Okay, good point.
So if you're not protecting your people, if you're saying that it's, to serve and protect, what about, there's a lot of elderly people that live in that area.
That's the sad part.
So
Yeah,
why are you not serving and protecting?
yeah. That's who I'm mainly concerned with, because they're trapped and they can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, and you have a lot of ex-military that are from that are that are on the police force,
yeah.
and so you're gonna tell me you can go over to Afghanistan and fight, but you can't keep Pooky from robbing somebody?
Yeah, but well,
And
you,
nobody's saying you need to go in there and shoot Pookie. I mean, Pookie don't weigh but 120 pounds, so you can keep that brother from robbing grandma. All right, you can keep from Big Mama.
keep from Big Mouth.
I truly believe that you can do that. You've been trained properly.
Yeah.
Just bring it down a couple of notches because he not Al Qaeda. He's just somebody. He's just somebody that need a couple of dollars so he can buy a rock.
I want to rock right now.
All right.
Old time rock bass. Oh boy. That Golden Nova said the black community needs to stop the nonsense as a whole. Racist standards between the black man, the black woman, and the black child. Parents need to parent. And Golden Nova's an educator. She gets it just like all the other educators do. It starts in the home. Do
It
we
does.
keep going back to the same place? No one wants to hold people accountable.
But see, and that's the thing, though. I mean, why are we not? Because I had no patience for a mother, coming and trying to get me to coddle their child. I had, like I said, I got called to the office because I said "duh" to a child. First of all, she came out of pocket to me, and
Right.
then she didn't have her homework because
Of course.
she had done one side of the page and didn't know there was a back. So you mean you had possession of a sheet of paper for a whole day and you didn't turn the paper over to see that there was a back? Really? I got up and left. I left the assistant principal there looking stupid, the mama looking stupid, and I went back up to my classroom because the whole conversation was dumb and a
Shots
waste of my
fired.
time.
Right. That part.
Teach your kids how to act. I taught my kids how to act towards a teacher who is a grown up. I give
Right.
them no excuses.
No, no, no.
There's no excuse for misbehavior and
No.
disrespect to a grown person.
But that's what we're expected to deal with in today's modern public school. Then you wonder why you can't get teachers.
And you wonder why your child is flunking out of college as a freshman because they didn't learn anything. They might have A's and B's, but those A's and B's mean nothing
They
because
don't.
people slapping down A's and B's just because they don't want to be bothered with you in their face. You did it.
Oh, oh.
And your child gonna be 35 and still living with you and you looking stupid because you are an unsuccessful parent. Unsuccessful. Both my kids left at 18. I ain't seen them since.
And what did you say earlier about they're gonna find if they don't raise them right, they're gonna wind up in a trailer park. What'd you say earlier before we started? They're gonna have to take care of them.
Oh yeah, I said. I mean, that's the thing though. Whenever you are raising children, you have to keep in mind, even while you're pregnant with them, this is the person who's gonna be taking care of me when I'm old. And that's what I said. I said, yeah, if you don't do it right, you're gonna when you're 80 years old, if you make it that long, you're gonna be in a corner in a 2-bedroom trailer with drool coming down your face, waiting for your Happy Meal to get there when they get off work. I don't
Oh,
want to eat Happy Meals. I made sure my kids were successful.
Lola said, "There she goes."
I want the ground floor master
Oh
with
my god.
the old lady tub that blow bubbles that you do. Open the door and sit down in with an 85-inch TV and the queen size with the Tempur-Pedic mattress.
Oh God. Okay, so they're laughing at you right now. You're too much. You're too much.
Listen, John Joyner, we know Joe Biden voted against every civil rights bill. Okay, yes, I know that. That
Oh
was
my God.
that was before you were born. We know that.
Lady Libra said, unheard of. Even when my children were in school, they didn't want any one of their teachers calling me to the right. Lady Libra gets it. She was a good parent. TA Cowboy. Yep, both girls are in school doing their thing. Lola said, I know that's right. So again, common sense is not so common anymore, folks. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's why Miss Spicy is a retired educator, and after this year, I'm 3 years out from retiring. And as you can see, we've seen and heard a lot. We know the farce that today's public school in America is, and we just need to do a show straight on charter schools, and I have the receipts. Again, I've been reading and listening to Thomas Sowell. He has the receipts, guys, and that's why I'm saying now, when you vote, whatever's the most important to you. All right. So now we're in the South, but in the North, the teachers unions, they run at the show. They don't want the charter schools, but the charter schools, you can, the statistics don't lie. Communities of color do better, okay, in charter schools. So again, look at what's most important to you and then vote accordingly. John Joyner said, and you still support this criminal.
Let me address that, please. Biden is not currently wearing a orange jumpsuit with up-team indictments against him. Also, Mr. John Joyner, Trump, back in the day, since we going back 38, 75 years ago, he is it is very well known that Trump actually discriminated against black tenants, or wanted, or they wanted to be tenants in his building, and him and his father would not allow them to be in his building.
Okay, I think all right, Mr. Joyner, I'm waiting on you to okay.
Now let's move on. Let's
Yeah,
move
I mean,
on.
and guys, to be fair, that's just how it was. So many, I mean,
It was. That's the way it was.
the way it was, and things haven't, there's still some situations where things aren't fair. I mean, hey, but what are you gonna do?
And there's a difference between a state supported charter school, because here in North Carolina they have given out a certain number of charters
Yeah,
that will still be state supported, and that means that the teachers that teach at the charter schools will still get their retirement benefits.
right.
Now there are some charters, another kind of charter, that will just be like private schools.
Okay, okay. And again, I think the choice, because we know now for years the public schools have had a monopoly, and of course legally, at least until they're 16, a child had to go to school. So once you break up the monopoly, it becomes more competitive. Gina says, "Are you listening to Mrs. Morrison, John?" Okay, Gina.
Ignore that.
TA said that's what happened in New Orleans after Katrina charter schools. All right,
Mhm.
TA, do you have any statistics on that? Because from everything I'm reading, even when they have students who are in a charter school inside using the same building that public school students are in, the students in the charter schools, statistically, they score better. Patricia said Mr. Joyner lived in one of those buildings in New York that he's describing. Okay. Patricia, did you hear that, Miss Morrison?
Mhm.
Okay.
It
Yes,
must have it must have some lead paint in it.
lead paint, not the lead paint. No, not the lead paint. What about the disclosure to get rid of the lead and the lead blinds?
He did. I mean, when is Trump done with what he was supposed to do? Come on now. But
All right,
anyway,
Mr.
this
Joyner.
this is about Biden and his initiatives. Another thing, speaking of which, another thing that Biden has done is he pardoned and decriminalized the use of possession of marijuana on the federal level, and it has invited all states to do so also, which we know that percentage wise, black people have been, or people of color have been, more arrested for these types of violations because they've been
Okay.
targeted. And so you really a lot, so that has let a lot of our people off the hook. And also the extra help program in 2025, the out of pocket cap for prescription costs will be $2,000 for the people who are on Medicare, and that's going to be an advantage, a yearly savings An
Okay.
average yearly savings of $2,500.
Okay.
So that rolls out in 2025. So he's also looking towards the future. And
Okay.
then HUD, by the executive order 13985, addresses equity in home appraisals. We talked about that. But it
Right.
also expands capital for the development of affordable rental buildings. So if there's someone interested in investing in rental homes for the low income, they
Right.
can actually get federal help to do that.
Okay. Well, we know it's much needed. So,
It is, but it would be a good investment because it would be backed by the federal government.
so like Section 8 housing, something in the
Yeah,
section.
and they could actually get loans or I'm not sure if it's in loans or grants or what.
Okay. So, all right, John. Okay. So TA says they definitely, especially in the downtown, uptown areas where it was predominantly low income. Anyway, she's still talking what we said about the importance of the charter schools. Thank you for that, TA.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
John Joyner said that's to keep his crackhead son out of jail. And then Lady
You know,
Libra said,
I'm announcing a wedding, the wedding invitations for John and Trump.
"Oh,
It would be happening at Rikers Island on New York because during Trump's lunch break,
okay." So,
everybody's invited.
all right. Oh, Lady Libra says Trump has only done good when it profits Trump. Lola, facts, Miss Spicy. Okay, all right. So they're coming through. The okay, they're rolling in the chat section. Okay, um,
Yeah,
so again, it's good. We can all have this conversation and laugh, and no one's angry. I'm loving it.
yeah.
Like McDonald's. So, Miss Spicy, what would you suggest that, I mean, or do you suggest what I tell people, just do your research regardless of which party you support? Is there
Right.
anything else
Do the
they
research.
and look at your what you're saying, it sounds like what I'm saying, look at your personal situation,
Hmm.
vote accordingly.
And really,
Okay.
that's why the local elections are more important because I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, the of course, you're still impacted by the federal government, but your local elections and your state elections impact you greater
And a lot of
than
people don't
yeah.
vote in those. Yeah.
Yeah,
John
they don't.
Turner said he worked at Rikers Island for 20 years.
Oh, that's definitely lead paint there. No wonder. Yeah.
Yeah,
No
that's an
wonder
old.
no wonder he crazy.
Somebody Google
He
how
used the criminals. That's why he fell in love with some criminals while he was working there. Okay,
he's a retired correctional
that
officer.
makes sense. Oh my God! Thank
He's
you
a
for the revelation.
he's a retired correctional officer.
That
Um,
makes sense.
from Rikers, and so he's seen some criminals in his time. That's in the last.
Yeah,
You gotta check out the last video. Um, and so again, folks, um, Patricia said he did get brain damage. Patricia Joyner. And John said yes. Okay, so
at least you own your disability, baby.
oh my God, I can't with that. This is a mess. I love it.
I'm gonna send you some flowers.
Oh wow. This
Oh,
is a mess. I don't know. Everyone's just laughing. What else can I do but laugh? There's nothing else I can do. This has just been a hoot. Okay. So I've thoroughly enjoyed this. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us, Miss Spicy?
yes. Regardless of who you vote for,
Yep.
I really don't care. But regardless of who you vote for, our ancestors fought for your right to vote. So
Right.
no matter who you
Oh,
vote for, vote. That's what I ask you to do. That's what they fought for, and I mean, a lot
Died.
of them went through very terrible things
Yeah.
to get your right to vote, and so don't squander it.
Right. Research, research, research.
Yes,
Yeah.
research.
Golden Nova said just vote. Um,
Exactly.
so we're getting ready to end this live stream, but before we go, I had a question. And Patricia agrees with you. Yes, yes, yes. And so did Golden Nova. Do you guys want me to do go back to my roots and do a book review on Thomas Sowell's book, Fallacies, where he's talking about consequences matter and a lot of the things that Miss Morrison and myself have talked about in reference to some things that are going wrong. Again, that's how my channel started. Um, and so if you'd like for me, I know most of us are busy. John Joyner said, "Get off of the Democratic plantation." Okay, Miss Morrison, Miss, I know Miss Spicy has a response to that.
I wasn't out there in the sun. My hair might have been out there picking cotton, but I'm light skinned. I was in the house.
You were in the house.
Yeah,
All
my hair nappy, so it was out there picking cotton.
right. So, excuse me. If you guys would like for me to do a book review, type it in the chat section. Again, as busy as I am, I will take the time to read and share with you. And the good thing about Thomas Sowell, like I said, it's all economics. Um, he started off actually as a Marxist. He's 93 years old. He's written several books, and he's excellent. And again, I'm a numbers person. Golden Nova said yes, and he has the receipts. He's done the research, and you can't argue with numbers and statistics. So, um,
So what is his? Does he? What did he study? Like children or
economics as it
economics?
relates to race, as it relates to
Mm-hmm.
education, jobs. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's good. If you're familiar with Walter Williams, they're colleagues. So
Okay.
yeah, but excellent information. Like I said, he has. Whether you like what he says or not, it's all from research. It's all statistics based. You can
Now,
go.
how recent are the statistics?
He's written so many books. The latest book that he's written is the one that I wanted to share with people. So it's relatively recent. And then you get some of his older books. Of course, it's older, but
Now
yeah.
you're not gonna go back to the early Soul Train years like Mr. John did. Now, are you? Where they
No,
doing this right here? You're not going back that far, right?
no, I won't go back that
Okay.
far. You won't. Oh, they want me to put the title of the book in the chat. All right, it's by Thomas Sowell. I'll go ahead and type that. Um, yeah, he is. And like I said, I think the name of it is okay. Let me see. I'll get the exact name. Social justice fallacies, and I'll type that for you.
Okay.
Um, it's an excellent read. Like I said, he's written um several books. All right, there we go. And again, it's all the numbers are there. So I'd like to thank you all for again. Of course, Miss Spicy, as usual, makes it fun. And I just want to again, you could be anywhere on this Sunday afternoon. You chose to be here, and I love it.
I had a
And
great time.
huh?
I'm gonna pray. Look, if I had known John was gonna be like this, I would have prayed for him when I was at church instead of napping
Oh,
during the prayer.
okay. It's not too late. You can still.
I
Ta
think
said
he must be
nothing but
Trump's
love.
cousin.
Huh?
He must be Trump's cousin.
I don't know. Um, Golden Nova said, okay, about to get it. Patricia said, thank you. TA said, nothing but love. Lola still laughing.
Mm.
She's the one who originally named you Miss Spicy, just so you know. Lola said, Lola said, let's pray for him.
We will start a
Okay.
prayer chain.
So Thank you so much, guys. I enjoyed this conversation like I always do. And we'll be back here next Sunday. John
Indeed.
Joyner said, yes, yes. So he's like me, he takes all prayers. All right. So, everyone, please enjoy your week. Be safe. And we'll be here again next Sunday, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, enjoy your week. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right. There we go.